time. Luna affinity, light the way. Guided protection, here to stay. On your path the truth unfolds. Guides will whisper, stories told. Let your journey now begin. In the magic, let's dive in. So tell me, what do the cards reveal? What's the truth they conceal? She's the high priestess with the key to every question that's haunting me. A lover's heart or a warning from the past. In the terror's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truth's come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos, I find my place. In the tarot's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truth's come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos, I find my place. The moonlight glows, the veil is thin. Luna affinity will call again. Thanks for walking in the light, where guides whisper pure insight. Until we meet, the cards will wait. Mystic whispers guide your fate. With every message our spirits send, for cosmic dreams our souls transcend.
Hey guys, happy Thursday. Welcome in. Hey Jasmine, I got your donation. It's for a price or an amount that you donated for that I am not sure what it is you donated for. So if you can just clarify that for me, that would be great. We're going to get some free reads going and then we'll move on to donations. After that, please make sure if you drop a yes or no question in the chat that you are liking the live stream as well. Okay, Jasmine. So an in-depth is 13, so you technically overpaid, but if you wanted like 2 questions or something, you could do $2 more and then it's 17. Or if you just have the one question, you want the 2 extra to be like a tip, then that works for me as well. Just let me know how you want to handle that. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. Hey Naija, welcome in. Just a reminder, if you guys did drop a question in the chat, make sure you're liking the live. First person on my list is Kayla. Kayla says, does Khalik like Kayla? Let's see. I am getting a no for Kayla. 5 of Cups. Space Cowboy. Yes, a Knight of Wands. Amy. Let's see. This is interesting. I have the 5 of Pentacles and the 3 of Pentacles. So, the 5 of Pentacles is a definite no, but the 3 of Pentacles alongside of it does talk about like friendships and acquaintances and working together in like social groups, group of friends, that kind of thing. So maybe in that capacity, he may be thinking of you. So I would say a friend capacity, maybe. Jasmine, I got your additional, so we'll do 2 questions for you. Thank you so much. And Jasmine, you're the first on the list, so right after the free, we will take care of that for you, okay? All right, this is for Ajaz. Again, please, if you are dropping a question in the chat for free, make sure that you are liking the live stream as well, okay? You're welcome. All right, this is for Ajaz. Ajaz, I feel like you're making some kind of advancement forward in this area. The Hangman in reverse. But it still indicates that you kind of are, we'll say you're getting warmer, okay? But I feel like there's still, this is almost like just the beginning or just the starting point, or maybe you need to take a minute and think on this a little bit more or something like that, because the Hangman speaks on all right, needing to take a break, needing to put some more time together to think this through. So I will say you're getting warmer. This is for Maya. I have a no for Maya, 8 of Cups. For Brenton Little, I am getting a yes. 4 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Space Cowboy, your question was answered earlier on, but you looks like you reposted again, which is telling me you may not have been in here when we did your question. And a requirement of mine for free readings is that you're present. So just make sure that if you drop a question, you stay here until it's your turn, okay? Brenton, you are welcome. This is for Prechi. Prechi, this is looking like a yes for me, the Hierophant. It doesn't mean that it can't turn into something more one day, but right now it's definitely more platonic energy. This is for Anna. I don't answer financial questions, Anna. I don't advise or offer financial advice. So feel free to rephrase your question. The Gemini. Yes, Ace of Swords. Gabriella. When you ask about success, what are you saying? Do you want to know like if there would be interest and things like that? Because remember, I don't answer financial, like I don't provide financial advice. So if you just want to know, like, will it go well? Will people be interested? That kind of thing. Let me look into that for you. Yes, Ace of Cups. Yes, Shavana, Nine of Pentacles. Nyasha. Naija, your mom hits a ceiling, okay? So she will mature, things will get better, but you can't expect her to completely surpass where you want her to be. So like there will be some improvement that you see. Page of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. But I think that she hits a like a ceiling. Like I feel like there's only so far that this can go for her, and it almost is calling like accepting her where she is, and not expecting too much from this situation. Rachie, you're welcome. Amy, give me a second. I'll read what you said in just a minute. You're welcome, Nyasha. We're going to wrap up the free list here just a second. This is for Dorella. Yes, 10 of Cups. This is for Marina. No 8 of Cups. This is for Key. I'm getting a no K. Key. I have the Tower and the 9 of Wands. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome, everyone. All right, we do have a donation list that is building. We have a BOGO for Jasmine Moore. And then, Naija, what are we doing for you, girl? You're welcome, Key. Oh, you're sweet. Thank you, Naija. Okay, girl. So we got 2 BOGOs in the lineup here. Jasmine's first. So, Jasmine, if you're ready, go ahead and get your questions prepped while I catch up with the chat. So, Amy says, forgot to update you. If you remember Eric, the older guy that I was kind of friends with benefits with, that ended up back in a relationship with someone he dated previously. They officially split about a week ago, and he even told me that was happening between them. And it was accurate what you said. They didn't last long, and it really looked like they chose to try again to see if anything further would occur. You were pretty on the money, Luna. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Amy, for that confirmation. I have to be completely honest. I do not remember this at all. But if you have any idea where or when that reading might have taken place, I would love to go back and rewatch. But that's really cool, though. Thank you again for letting me know that things played out the way that I saw. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you so much. Oh, is he doing okay with the breakup? Like, does he feel like he just wanted to give it like one last shot or something? Oh, wow, that's crazy. I wish someone would have taken me up on that offer because I would like to claim and cash in on that bet. Wow, that's wild. It seemed like they both were intending to give it one last shot. They both are just slowly. Oh, makes sense. Sometimes, you just have to see it through. If you feel like there's something still there, you don't want to have that feeling of what if you. And sometimes it's really hard to like walk away from things if you're still feeling like there's something there. So it's good that they figured it out. All right, so for Jasmine, what do you see happening with my job? I'm concerned because of what's happening with my boss. I'm nervous about my performance. How will moving into my new space in September go? In your words, Luna, you said they were trying to get each other out of their system. Yep. That definitely sounds like something I would say. All right, Jasmine, we are shuffling for you right now. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Amy. All right, Jasmine. What's happening with her job, please? What's happening with her job? What will happen with her job? What will happen with her job? You have a right to be nervous about this because I'm feeling like there's a lot of cards here that indicate like, sorry, I'm not trying to make you like be on pins and needles right now with my words not coming in, but I feel like these cards here just kind of show separation from this job. I see here with the Chariot, like, what do I do? Do I go this way, that way? Like, what are my options here? I don't know if you outright like get let go, but I almost feel like something changes within the job itself, and it puts you in a position where you have to determine if this is something you want to still do. Some things that are coming to mind, potentially, like where you feel kind of like your back is up against a wall, would be a company buyout and policies and benefits change, or they maybe say you're not fit for this department anymore, but we would love to have you in this other department and see how that goes. And maybe that's not something you want to do, but for the sake of the job itself, you might need to stay and stick around because you need the money. Or maybe there's a situation where you're hoping for a raise, but you don't get it because of your performance, and you're really banking on that increase in funds and have to determine if this is a place you want to stay. It almost feels, Jasmine, like there's some kind of restriction here for you. Like depending on how you're performing at work, maybe they give you like a probation period or something where they're like, if this doesn't improve, then maybe they give you one more chance. Like, I don't know, but I feel almost like you feel stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I feel like you want to see growth and investment in this job. But there's conflict here. And the reason I'm saying that, for example, I have the Three of Swords that came out with the Ace of Cups, meaning that this isn't turning out to be exactly what you were hoping it would be. Maybe something has changed about the job. Maybe it's their metrics or the things that they're asking of you is becoming more and more difficult. Meaning that it's like harder to manage, or that there's a lot that you have to do. Maybe things are getting more rigid or more strict, and it's hard for you to meet those requirements. But it basically is like the energy of this isn't turning out how you thought it was going to be. Maybe management changes, maybe the way that they want your performance to be has changed. And then there's a lot of restriction here. And the Chariot, in most tarot decks, talk about mobility. They talk about moving forward, determination, like full single-minded and single-focused energy on a goal. Whereas the Chariot in this deck is kind of like, I'm moving, I'm like, I have no choice but to keep moving forward, but I don't know if I should stick around or leave. Or maybe you feel like you're kind of stuck between a choice that you don't really want to have to make. It feels like there's a little bit of reluctance here, depending on how this goes. I also have the Five of Wands and the Five of Pentacles, which can speak to issues within the workplace with the people there, and or issues within the workplace with your money, like your finances. And that's the whole reason people have a job. So, the Five of Pentacles can speak to, you feeling like you're not being promoted as fast or as quickly. You're not getting raises as much or as often as you would like. And it feels almost like there's like a moment that happens with this job where you kind of have to re-examine where you're at with this place and determine for yourself if this is something that you want to continue to try to do, or if there's other choices that need to be made for you to feel good about where you're at professionally. I understand that nervous energy. I just realized you said there's something happening with your boss for whatever reason. I didn't process that the first time I read it. So there's something happening with your boss. If you want to elaborate, feel free. But that's kind of the energy that I'm picking up. And if there's anything you want to add to this, I might be able to see if there's anything else I can get for you from these cards. But otherwise, that's kind of what I'm seeing, is that basically you get to a point where you feel like your back is up against a wall and a decision needs to be made. And what that decision is, I'm not sure, but that's why I threw a couple examples out, because I didn't know. She's been scrutinizing you more and more. You're just concerned about it. So it's like micromanaging a little bit. Yeah, that's why I have the Ace of Cups and the Three of Swords. It feels like this is not turning out how you were hoping that it would. And maybe things are becoming more and more strict or rigid and harder to achieve. Maybe they're expecting a lot more out of you than what's realistic. Not that this is going to change the course or the outcome, but there is a lot of comfort and solidarity. So if there's anyone around you that's dealing with the same thing, just talking to them and saying, like, are you feeling this pressure? Are you feeling this way by this person? If there's anyone else that's kind of in your position that maybe you can talk to, just to see if, like, do you feel like it's just you that this person is singling out, or do you feel like everyone is having a hard time with these, like, rigid and strict, I guess, expectations? Like I said, there's comfort and solidarity. Even if it doesn't change anything, it might make you feel better to know you're not alone in this. But at the same time, Jasmine, if there's any part of you that feels like you are being singled out, it's not going to be a bad idea to go over this boss's head, if there's anyone over them, and just basically express how it is you're feeling and that you feel like you're being singled out, and see if there's anything else that a higher up can do for you. But I would love to tell you that this is going to get better, but as of right now, with these cards I pulled, it seems like that's not the case. It's too early to say you're being singled out. Oh, okay, I understand. That's so maybe something you just kind of have to stay the course then, because the Seven of Pentacles indicates like staying the course, continuing to invest in this, and just seeing how things play out. All right, how will moving into September go for her? I know, I can understand being nervous. So as far as moving into your new place in September, this is looking really, really good. This is the area of life for you that's, you got good news here. I feel like this is a place wherever you move that you will likely be for a long time. Let me see. Meaning that it's like an extended lease. So you, if you're, for example, if you're renting, this is the place that you likely will renew for another period of time. Or if it's like a house that you're buying, it seems like a place you're going to be staying at for a while. The Seven of Pentacles kind of talks about like planting seeds and investing in this place, and maybe you don't see the results right away, but this is something that eventually will be really good for you, and you'll have been happy that you made this decision. This can quite literally mean growing a garden or something similar to that at this new place. But the Nine of Cups talks about your wishes being fulfilled. Ace of Pentacles is like an opportunity that presents itself to you. There might even be some people nearby where you can sort of build certain bonds with, depending on how much you put yourself out there. The Hierophant indicates like being around people in which you identify. So this could be people that live around you that have a similar mindset or a similar lifestyle, a similar way of living. It can also indicate that you might find people around the area, in the neighborhood or near you, where you might be building relationships with these people as well. Let's see. Of course, depending on how social you are and how much you put into that, there's that opportunity is here. The problem is work, I think, is going to stress you out. Your finances are going to stress you out. Like, not saying that you're not going to have money, but maybe you're not going to be able to put as much into savings, for example, as much as into savings as you would like. There's definitely going to have to be some reworking here, or maybe living in this new place, you might not be able to keep up with the same type of activities or interests or hobbies. If you're someone who gets their nails done all the time, or microblading, or maybe you buy a coffee from a local coffee shop every day, things like that, you might have to start cutting corners a little bit. Like I said, I'm not saying you're not going to have money, you're not going to be able to afford it, just certain lifestyle changes might be required, or maybe lowering expectations when it comes to building a savings account. Maybe if your plan is to put $500 a month, maybe it's only going to be $250. But I do think that, this place is, wherever you go, you make it a home. It feels like a lot of love and comfort that is surrounding you in this place. I'm also noting, even though I said you might be making some acquaintances or even friendships by living here, I feel like there's a lot of homebody energy. So I feel like you more so feel comfortable, or you want to be more in the place where like you're in your home. So you're either spending a lot of time here on your own, or if you want to spend time with people, you might be more so inviting them into your home and hosting there, because you just want to be comfortable and snuggled up into this place that you have made for yourself. But yeah, I mean, I think you get what you want. I think you're getting more of what you're looking for. like I said, the Nine of Cups means that whatever wish you had for this is something that comes true for you. And the Ace of Pentacles talks about an opportunity, a good opportunity for you that this is going to bring. Do you have any follow-up to anything I said about that one? Okay, that sounds good. I can do up to 3 readings in a row for you. And then if there's anything else that you wanted after that, then I can put you back into rotation. I know. I feel your nervousness from over here. Okay, so it's another BOGO. That's fine. So we'll do both for you right now, but if there's anything else you want to donate after that, we'll put you back into rotation, okay? But we'll get this knocked out for you because it's a BOGO. So it looks like 2 more questions you might have at this time. You might have to put in more work is what you're considering, but you know you're under surveillance. You've been here before. I mean, yeah, like I definitely feel like don't, unless you feel you're at that point where your back is up against a wall, I wouldn't just jump ship, like definitely try your hardest. So Jasmine, I'll give you a second to get those questions typed up. I'm going to get shuffling here. You're really nervous. What do you see your boss thinking your intentions towards you? You're wondering if he's seeing more effort. Okay. Well, let's start there. Let's see. Is her boss seeing more effort from her yet? Is her boss seeing more effort from her yet? What are his intentions? What are his intentions? What are his intentions? What is he thinking? What is he thinking? What is he thinking? Okay, so Jasmine, what I'm getting is that this sorry about that. What I'm getting is that your boss is saying it's too soon to tell if he's doing more effort. I have the 9 of Cups, which means that he feels like there's only so many more chances he will have the capacity to give to you. I think that he feels like you have heard him loud and clear, that you understand the expectations, and he feels like you've taken what he has said seriously and to heart. He believes that you understand, I guess, the gravity of the situation. But he's saying, I don't know yet. I think that maybe he feels like it's too soon to say right now. But I do see with the 7 of Pentacles that he's willing to work with you, willing to, continue to invest in this employment for you. But he's like, basically, I need to see some real improvement, and I'm not seeing it just yet. Maybe there's been certain moments or certain periods of time where he's like, okay, she did better this day, something like that. But he's looking for more long-term consistency, especially with the 7 of Pentacles. And so he's saying it might not be something that I can speak on just yet. What I'm gathering is he may be feeling pressure. Sometimes management, they don't really care. I mean, they care about their employees, don't get me wrong, but they care more about how their employees' performance is affecting them personally. And a lot of times they can have people breathing down their neck, and they can be like, the higher ups could be judging your boss for how you're performing. And it can make his life harder, is kind of what I'm feeling behind what his intentions are. And what he's thinking is that he wants the easiest life possible. He wants things to go well. He doesn't want people judging him or his ability to manage if somebody in his department or someone that's working under him is not performing at their best. So he cares more, his perspective is he cares more about himself than you. And if you, okay, that's good. I'm glad. So it sounds like this is a newer job for you, is what I'm gathering from this. He wants to make sure that by giving you this chance, by giving you this opportunity, that he's not, shooting himself in the foot, if that makes sense, that expression. Like, he wants to make sure that by giving you this chance and opportunity and allowing for the time for you to kind of get your grounds and get your footing, that he's not going to be scowled or disciplined or whatever, or like reprimanded about it, because again, you are a reflection of him. So I feel like from his perspective, he's not calling it off. He's not saying she needs to go. He's willing to continue to see this through and hope for the best. He just has to make sure that this isn't going to pose problems for him in his own job security. So it kind of trickles down, from the top. And so if you're feeling extra pressure, it could potentially be because he knows what that will mean for him if he's not able to get you to perform the way you're, where you need to be. So, I feel like he cares about you to a certain capacity, and he's really trying to make sure you understand. We want to give you the opportunity. We understand sometimes it takes certain people longer than others, but I think he's really hoping to see improvement, which again, I don't necessarily feel like he has seen just yet, but he's still open to it. He's still saying, let's continue to see where this goes. We're not making any decisions right now. But if this starts to affect my job, because it seems like he just wants the least resistance. I feel like any boss, any manager, any supervisor wants the easiest time, and managing departments isn't always easy because a lot of times how someone is doing in your team is a reflection of you. So, and now I feel like the message is repeating, so I do feel like that completes this reading. So I hope it makes you feel a little bit better that you're not like being fired tomorrow or something. I feel like you still have some time to turn this around if you wanted to. It doesn't, but you understand the assignment. Okay. I'm sorry. Jasmine, that sounds good. Whenever you're ready, you just send it over. Okay, how will you perform at the job when you start working? All right, let's see. In the next few months. Let's just look at it through the end of the year. How about that? How well will she perform at this job through the end of the year? How well will she perform at this job through the end of the year? All right, so they're saying you have some highs and lows, but that you definitely overcome. The Seven of Wands indicates like lots of challenges coming your way, and I think when I say that, you've already had some challenges. It sounds like, so you can include that in there. But they are saying that you will overcome. I'm getting more so towards the end of the year. Things feel happier, better, more liberated, more free. Maybe you're building confidence, or for whatever reason you just feel like things feel better towards the end of the year. I am getting with the Six of Pentacles that what you're putting into it is what you're getting out of it. So some advice would be Um, if you feel like you're not maybe doing something correctly, or you feel like you need a little extra help, be vocal about that. Because as long as your employers know that you're aware of maybe some weaknesses of your own, and you're looking for extra assistance on like how to do it. I don't know what specifically you are doing with your job, but I do know that sometimes they might advise for extra training, extra courses, um, maybe staying late one day and going over some things that maybe are taking you a little longer to grasp. Or, if that's an option, again, I don't know if that's the case for you, but basically, Spirit is saying that you want to make sure that you're being vocal, that you are kind of keeping your management up to speed and how you're feeling and where you're at. Um, Sales is a tough one. I feel like with sales, it's like hard because it's like you get it, you got it, or you don't. Um, it's reminding me of this whole reading has been reminding me of my brother when he worked for Yelp. Um, he worked for Yelp, and then he also managed a team as well. And it's when it comes to sales, it's really, really hard because you have people every like if there's a hierarchy of management, it's like every single level there's someone feeling like they're getting you're breathing down their neck kind of. But basically, Jasmine, I think what they want is they don't want you to just like, um, what is the word? Cower and just try to get through the day. If you're really feeling like you can't keep your head above water, be vocal about that because they can't read minds. So they want you to be very honest about it. And if they see you making efforts and trying, I think that they will kind of see this through as much as possible with you. I think more of the harder part is in the beginning because there's a lot of information to grasp and digest and understand. And you're also not only learning something new in a new company, you're also learning their way of doing things. And you're being critiqued for it, you're being judged for it. And they're probably expecting you to have um, hitting certain metrics, like I said. So the more you do it, the better you become, the more comfortable you get. The next month or two is probably still going to be a little bit of a rocky road. Um, you know, Depending on what it is you're selling, I think it's important that you personally resonate with what it is that you're selling too, because I think that if you believe in it, whatever the product or service is, if you believe in it, I think that that's really going to help you. So finding some part of this that you believe in is really going to help you with sales. But yeah, the next month or two seems still kind of rocky, but for whatever reason they're showing me the end of the year overcoming, finally feeling like you can breathe, relax, feeling happier, feeling more confident towards the end of the year. So I think this is just going to be, a part of the course. Like it's just something that you're going to have to get through until you can get that rhythm down that you're looking for. Okay, good. Sales is the tough one, girl. I'm sorry. Sales is great in terms of financially, it's great. Because if you can get, really good at it, I feel like there's really great money depending on specifically what it is that you're doing. There's commissions and things. Um, and that's always really cool, but I think sales is also really difficult. I've done it, and as a matter of fact, at the last like company job I had, they thought I'd be so good at it. They wanted to move me to that department, but personally, it wasn't something that aligned with me at the time. So kudos to you because I know how stressful that can be, but I do think that there's also really great payout and reward for a job well done in sales. You're welcome, Jasmine. Just see it through, be very honest with your management, do what you can to, get that extra training or that extra help. I think that if they see that you're making an effort and this really means something to you, they'll try to do what they can to help you through it. Hey, Chica. You're welcome, Unique. All right, Nasia, so I have you down for a BOGO as well. Whenever you're ready, just let me know. What does higher self want you to work on or improve? Check look here. Mystic is in the house. Just got a donation, Mystic. We will be with you after Nyasia, okay? Let me update the list real quick here. Whoop. Doing really good, friend. Doing good. I'm going to send you a message really quickly, actually. Hold on. Oh my goodness. I just had to pull up my email. I feel like I've been doing better at reading emails, but hopefully you haven't sent me anything lately because I swear to you, you probably are like me, but I have like 15 different emails for different things. All right, let me see. All right, Naija, I just sent you a message via email. Okay. So let's see. Hey, Mystic, I'm doing good, Fran. You're going to be reaching out soon to book a personal. Okay. Oh my God, I was just thinking about your birthday, Naija, because my husband's is on Monday, and I know that you have yours coming up. Remind me though, is it September or October? Or wait, now I'm getting confused. What's your sun sign? I don't know why in my mind you're a Libra, but now I'm like second guessing myself. All right, Nigel, let's get shuffling for you. I just got your message back. Oh my gosh. We'll have to catch up after this as well. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Libra, yeah, duh. Okay. Well, I thought Libra, and then I started second guessing myself, and I was like, wait, no. But yeah, I'll tell Brendan you said happy birthday because I'm sure I won't see you before then again. All right, let's get shuffling for you. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you all about it. He wants to go see the movie Weapons. So I know we're probably going to do that. And then he also wants to go to Red Lobster for his birthday. So I said, well, then Sugar Mama's got to work because you want Red Lobster and a movie. So I was like, guess I'm working all weekend. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but he said it's the same creators. I want to say is like Barbarian, if I'm not mistaken, and he really liked that movie, so we he's very excited, and It has like a high score on Rotten Tomatoes too, so. I'm cracking up at calling myself Sugar Mama, by the way, because if anything, he's the sugar daddy. Because it's not me, that's for sure. But on his birthday, baby girl can have whatever he wants. Hey Jay, free list is closed. Did you want to donate? Yeah. He gets like 1 or 2 days a year where if we go out somewhere, I pay for everything. And sometimes, if he's lucky, I'll even drive. And he can be a passenger princess. I'll probably let him do that on his birthday too. So funny. We're pulling cards for you right now. You definitely to drive. I will. He doesn't ever insist on driving, so if he does, then I'll let him. But you're only nice on special occasions. That's so funny. What should she work on and improve? So what should she work on and improve? Oh my god, I'm cracking up. Indecision. You need to work on and improving your indecision. Libra's coming out to get you. Working on your health is something else that they want you to pay a little closer attention to as well. You know, and health is such like a whole body wellness, right? It's mental, spiritual, physical. It's what you eat, what you consume, not just what you consume like physically, but also visually, the things that you're surrounding yourself with, the things that you are consuming, like social media or TV shows or whatever, or the people that you're spending time around. Health doesn't just have to do with what you're eating or how you're exercising. It has to do with your hormone levels and how those are functioning, and you know, are you deficient in certain vitamins and those kinds of things. So, you know, maybe some kind of wellness check or something along those lines would be really good for you. And then, you know, trusting your intuition more in all aspects of life, because when we second guess ourselves, we kind of stunt ourselves. Like we go stagnant because we feel like nothing can grow here, or we keep going back and forth. And it's like every time, imagine if you're starting a car and stopping it, starting it, going a couple feet, stopping it, starting it, going a couple feet, stopping it. It's like you're going to take forever to get there, you know? So like just turn the car on and drive. It's kind of what I feel like Spirit is saying, like pick a direction and just go. I think they want you to know that you are a limitless being and that you can manifest whatever it is that you desire in this reality, and that success is attainable for you. You have two really cool cards here. You have the Visionary and you have the Midas. So you are meant to be an entrepreneur in this life. So you are not meant to work for other people. People are meant to either work for you or you're just meant to work on your own. So the Visionary card says that you have the capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, and that you can see the vision even if it's not meant to cause you personal gain, if it's supposed to help other people. The problem with this, or I guess what they want you to work on, is that what happens is you focus on sometimes maybe the progress, and maybe you feel like adjustments need to be made and things like that. But what they want you to know is you're ahead of the game, okay? What you conceive might take 3 years for it to catch up with other people. It doesn't mean that it's not a good idea. It doesn't mean that it's not successful. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be successful. It just means that you have to allow for the rest of the world to catch up because you're so progressed in that area. So, things that people might think of now and think, oh, that's a really good idea, it's not it's not going to land for people who aren't ready for it. So they're saying don't compromise your vision to make it more acceptable. You are blessed with the vision that is not yet conceivable to other people. And something that this reminds me of is, like, I want to say I was like 22, probably 22 or 23. So we're talking like 13, 14 years ago. And I had this idea that I probably was going to be single for a long time. I was very much in my boss era, independent era. And I knew that I wanted to buy a piece of land, but I didn't want a permanent dwelling because I didn't know how my life was going to change or evolve. And I was on YouTube and I saw like this very small channel talking about tiny houses. Okay. And I was like, I love this idea. I was like, it's really affordable. It's very livable. As long as I can find land to buy, I can have a tiny house. And then as my life changes, I can either sell a tiny home, or if I have a house, then I can have the tiny home on that property and it could be like a guest suite. Long story short, I called the bank. I'm trying to get a loan for a plot of land for a tiny home. A what? A tiny home. No one knew. No one knew what a tiny home was. There was no loan availability for a tiny home. I had to explain what a tiny home was to all the different banks that I was calling, trying to get approval for a plot of land. And they were like, well, we don't just do loans to just buy land. We have to know like what the purpose of the land is going to be, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, a tiny home. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it's just very frustrating during that time to try to find like any kind of financial help or like loans for a tiny home. Nobody wanted to help you fund a tiny home. I had a contractor, I had a realtor, and I couldn't greenlight it because I didn't have the funding, because all of these institutions literally had no idea what I was talking about. This had never come across their desk before. Anyone I talked to about it and explained to them, I had to explain in full what the heck I'm even talking about, okay? There was one place local in my city, Hey Lovely, where they actually built these tiny houses and they did financing through them. So I was like, okay, cool. So I can finance through them and get a tiny house. But the problem is I need the land for it. Okay. So I'm creating blueprints. I mean, I'm going all out. And I could not find a legal dwelling for this tiny home. Even RV parks didn't even know what I was talking about. Now, You say tiny house and everyone knows what it is. Everyone knows. And this is the kind of example that I'm trying to give to you, Nyasia, is that just because you're not seeing people understanding your vision, they can't conceive what you're talking about, you're so far ahead of the game that people are looking at you like crazy, like, what is this? But every great and grand idea that has ever existed is likely something that was conceived well before its time. And so you make adjustments to these things and you're thinking, I'm not seeing progress on these things. Therefore, maybe it's just not the right fit. But what I think it is just not the right timing. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go forward with these ideas just because other people can't understand it yet. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that adjustments need to be made. It doesn't mean that compromises need to be made to be more acceptable to other people. They also want you to know that you have an entrepreneurial and creative ability to turn anything into gold. You got the Midas touch, okay? You're like, what was that old wives' tale where they could spin anything into gold? But you have that ability. And then you also you have a philanthropic heart as well, wanting to share that with other people. Okay. So don't obsess over the fear of it not working out or the fear of like it not being successful. You just need to think to yourself, these are good ideas. They're just ahead of their time. And maybe it's something that either if you can slowly build it over time and it's not going to like hurt your pockets, then I think start it now. But if it's something that you're kind of like, I kind of need the rest of the world to catch up before I really can invest in this, don't ignore that idea. Maybe just pocket it for a year from now, where maybe people will be more open, understanding, or accepting, or, oh yeah, I've heard of that. Let's talk about it, Robert, welcome in. Oh, from Canada. Very cool. So you said, wait, where am I at here? You said you have so many ideas, so many good ones, you get overwhelmed. Spot on. You love tiny houses. We need to talk about my plan for that. Yeah, definitely. Tiny homes are still foreign in some places. I know. Spot on. I got some good ideas. Yeah. What I want to do is next level. Yes, I love the give back. I always help when I can. So, I essentially feel like Spirit is just saying, girl, just get disciplined, get a direction. Once you know where you're going, keep going. Don't start, stop. Don't, change it for other people just because they don't get it yet. You are just ahead of your time and it will catch up. And the problem is that if you let it catch up too much, then someone else is going to have your idea. Because there is this theory that I heard one time where inspiration doesn't just stay with one person. Inspiration goes from person to person and person. So if you have a really good idea that comes to you and you don't do anything with it, that idea is going to move on to another person in the collective consciousness. If they don't do anything with it, it's going to move on to the next person. It's going to keep going until someone does something with it. And then 2 years from now, you're going to go, I literally had that idea 2 years ago, but didn't do anything with it. And so that idea went to someone else. There's like a theory that inspiration will move from person to person. So, make sure that if it's something you really believe in, and you're like, yeah, this is really something that's going to make a difference, don't let it discourage you if the progress is not happening immediately, because if you're doing something with it, it stops with you. It's not going to keep going from person to person to person after that. Exactly. You know how many times in life I've gone, I have that idea. I remember back when, and you can post your next question whenever you're ready, but I, oh my God, Jasmine, wait a second, girl. I got to come back to you, friends. I got to come back to you. Jasmine, if you're still in here, I just realized I didn't answer your second BOGO question. I do 3 questions in a row, but that was my bad. I'm sorry. You said, is it best for you to get a roommate or move into a space by yourself? I'll come back to you, Jasmine, if you're still chilling in here. Yeah, I remember, oh my God, this was probably in like 2005 or something like that. Hey girl, sorry about that. Jasmine, do you want me to go ahead and do this question for you real quick? Because Naija says she'll hold off. Okay. Let me throw that on the screen. But I remember in like 2005, I'm gonna shuffle for you now, Jasmine. My brother was born and I was wearing jewelry and he really wanted to like grab the jewelry, chew on the jewelry, all this stuff. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, does like wearable jewelry that is actually fashionable and looks good, but your babies can chew on it when you're holding them, is that like a thing? And it was nowhere to be found. It never, ever, Lee said, you're enjoying the vibe? Okay. Well, Naisha, then if your question is ready, because she's cool to wait too. So if your question is ready, we can do it real quick. Just whoever wants to go, you just let me know. And we never did anything with that idea. It didn't exist. It wasn't patented. I remember Googling it. I couldn't find anything about wearable jewelry that your babies could chew on that actually was like cute and fashionable. And I was thinking to myself, man, like if I had the access to start this business, and I swear, like probably within 5 years, that existed. Someone created it. Someone created a brand. Someone created a product. And I was like, Mom, do you remember? And she's like, I remember. She's like, I remember having this conversation all those years ago. And we didn't do anything with it. And so I really believe that if inspiration comes to you, you don't do anything with it, it's going to find someone else. And so many times that kind of thing has come to me. All right. All right. I decided to cut complete communication with my mom, which I need to know. Okay. She decided to cut complete communication with her mom. What does she need to know? And also, Naisha, just to kind of talk a little bit back on that first reading that we did, you just said in general, right? You just said in general, what is it I need to work on or improve? So, you know, anything that I said, any theme or topic, it doesn't necessarily have to do with a career or a project or a business idea or anything like that. I mean, it can have to do with any category of life, like indecision, motivation, discipline, that kind of thing. That can be applied to any area. So really just take that message, however it applies to you. Oh, you're so right. You're so right, Jasmine. I feel like everyone's cutting out a parent or both parents. It's wild. Yeah, exactly. I bet you had like a room full of millennials and you were like, raise your hand if you have cut off access to one or more parents in your life. That whole room, the hands would be up. That's for sure. I agree. I understand. So Naija, I feel like with your mom, from her perspective, um, is the word delusional a good word? Like I feel like for her, from her perspective, she probably doesn't understand the severity and the gravity of the fact that you're cutting her off. She probably thinks, oh, this is temporary. This isn't going to last. Like, for whatever reason in her mind, she's saying it's just a matter of time. Because, the Wheel of Fortune has to do with like timing, and divine timing, and things like that. So I almost feel like there's a lack of urgency and seriousness that's being taken with this decision. I'm not sure if you've like blatantly outright told her we're done here, or if she's just noticing some distance and some separation being created. But I feel like from her perspective, this is not that this is temporary. She doesn't feel like this is something long term. Um, you said I don't talk to either of my parents. I prioritize my peace. Well, that's actually funny that you say that, because I was actually going to say that what you need to know is that you're much more happy on your own. The Six of Cups is like, I'll be my own comfort. You have the Three of Cups, which means that you're basically being very, what is the word? Specific, or no, not specific. You're being very selective. That's the word. Thank you, Spirit. You're being very selective with like who you're socializing with, who you're surrounding yourself with. There is honestly a sense of confidence that comes from this disconnection. I really don't feel from your part that you're missing her too much. But and why is there confidence? I wonder if it's because you're reestablishing that you can make these decisions and actually you're okay, or that maybe she has something to do with a lack of confidence. If you guys have a type of turbulent relationship where she puts you down or makes you feel bad about yourself, maybe separating connection from her does make you feel more confident. But whatever this is, there is definitely a feeling of glow up, confidence, feeling so much better about the situation, and feeling like this really is like turning a new page for your life. Jasmine says, I'm definitely thinking about doing this to my family. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, you have to make yourself that priority as well. Now, Naija, I'm not saying that this is not going to be regretful, but when I say regretful, I'm not saying you regret your decision. I'm saying you regret that she couldn't have been a better mom to you. Okay? You are like, maybe you don't have feelings about it. Maybe you don't have an emotional reaction or a response after cutting her off. But you can think to yourself, man, really sucks that she just couldn't be better, that she just couldn't grow, that she just couldn't be just a better mom to me. And again, that's her regret that she will have to carry. But maybe it's regretful to you in the sense that, like, I wish that things were different. But it doesn't mean that you're completely heartbroken or completely devastated over it. But if you are, that's also understandable. But maybe you've made peace with it. Maybe you've made peace with this decision. You see the world differently. You can't pretend. Yeah, and that's the thing. If like people can't, what's the word? Grow with you and evolve with you, you eventually have to separate yourself from them. You know, I don't know about you, but how I feel about my estranged parent is that he's so out of touch with reality. He sees things differently. He has a completely different narrative about the things that have transpired in our lives. He tries to tell me how I should feel about certain things and, oh, you're not remembering correctly, that didn't happen, or just lots of defense, and I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be estranged from you for no reason. Like, I didn't make this shit up. So it's like the lack of willingness to even see the damage that he caused. And you can't reason with someone like that, And it sucks because as the child, you're like, why do I feel guilty? Like, why? This is literally not even my fault. Like, they were the parent, they were the one that was supposed to do better. And it's like, but you feel like a sense of guilt or obligation. You're like, why? Like, why do I feel this way? And so you have to get to that point where you don't feel guilty anymore. You don't feel bad anymore because this is the bed they made and they've got a lie in it. This is crazy. This is how I view my family. Yeah, Jasmine. I get it, girl. The lack of accountability pisses me off 100%. If someone's deluded, they're not going to hold themselves accountable. So if it's like the non-recognition of the experience that has happened, at least for me personally. So for you, what do you need to know? You need to know that your mom right now sees this separation or distance as something temporary. Hopefully eventually she will figure it out. But for you bring yourself your own sense of confidence, comfort. You become more selective with who you surround yourself with because you're like, if I can cut my mom off, then bitches better watch out. And also it just brings in a new feeling, a new season, a new chapter for you where you feel like, okay, I really can just try to let this go. Now, I don't want to lie to you and tell you that this isn't going to be turbulent sometimes, okay? Especially if she tries to come back around, that might make things harder for you or more complicated. And kind of puts you, regress back to where you were. However, for the majority of the time, 95% or more, you feel good about this decision. You feel like this was the right thing for you. This is something that needed to happen. If that requires isolation, I'll take it. I have so much ahead of me. You do. I want positivity, accountability, and resilience, even if it's only giving it all to myself. I definitely agree, Nyasha. And it's kind of crazy how like these people in our lives can just suck us dry. The amount of energy that's required to even have to think about this situation, it's like so much mental energy. It's like they could possibly not even be doing anything to you in that moment, but it's just the energy that it requires to think about it, get frustrated about it, get mad about it, how it weighs on you, how like it sits in your mind, that's like an energy vampire, and that's a lot. And it takes a lot for you to say, you know what, enough is enough. So I commend you on that. I think overall you will be much happier. Jasmine, do you want to wait till the very, very end? Because I have another person ahead of you. Or, I mean, technically you're next. So you just let me know what you want to do, okay? I set boundaries and she kept violating them, so I told her why and blocked her. I really shouldn't have to teach anyone how to treat me, especially when I was raised to respect others. Yes, Asia, I totally agree. That's the thing too, is like I also am like respect my boundaries, with my biological father, he'll like text me and be like, hey, can you talk on the phone? And I'm like, texting is easier. What's up? And he's like, well, just I don't really want to text about it, so just to call me when you can. And he's always been a very controlling and overbearing person. So for me to say texting is easier, what is up? And he says, oh, well, just call me when you have a chance. It's him trying to assert some kind of authority. I don't want to text you. I want to call you. And I'm over here going, I don't want to talk on the phone. I want to text because that is better for me. That is a boundary I am setting. And if you're waiting for a call, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. So either take what I'm giving you or let that be that. And it's little things like that that just show me he hasn't changed. So why am I going to go out of my way to make a phone call? If you can't respect a little boundary as far as communication goes, if you can't say, oh, okay, cool, yeah, let's text. No, you're still trying to assert dominance and authority over my life when I have told you that is not the best form of communication for me right now. You are ignoring that boundary and you're proving to me everything I already know about you. So, Jasmine, you're going to change your question again. That's okay. Yeah, that works for me. All right, let me catch up. I can wait for last. It's his channel. Lovely. Thank you so much, Fran. No, that's all good. It's all good. I'm going to work on Jasmine and then I have Mystic right after that. Mystic donated about 40 minutes ago. So we're going to finish up Jasmine's last question that was attached to her BOGO. Then we'll be Mystic. Then it will be Lovely. And then I probably got to get going after that, but we'll see. We have so much in common. Oh my God, preach. So much in common. Naija, I feel like you're a soul sister. How many times have we said that? Like, I feel like we have so much in common. I'm so happy you told him that. Me too. It's just frustrating for me because it's like I'm trying to give you an inch and you're taking a mile and all you're doing is just reaffirming how I feel about you. So keep digging that grave. If he had said, oh, texting is easier for you, sure. Well, I just wanted to XYZ. Okay. Do you know how mind blown I would have been? Because the expectation is that he's not going to text me. He wants me to call him. So if he said, okay, yeah, texting is easier, that's fine. I respect that. Well, this is what I wanted to say. It would have been the shock heard around the world. I would have been like, who are you and what have you done with him? Because this is not the person that I thought you were, And so it's just like, I utilize and exercise those moments to really see, have you changed? And he hasn't. And he's proven time and time again about that. And at this point, I just accepted this is how it's going to be until he dies. Oh, well. With my mother, to be honest, this truly bothers me because it makes me feel like a human punching bag with my family. And that's not how you should feel, Jasmine. Drop all your guilt when you're ready. It's your peace of mind or psychological warfare. Choose peace. Definitely. Anyone who doesn't align with that just isn't for you, blood or water. 100% agree. The whole mentality of, oh, they're family, oh, they're blood. Lovely and I have had this conversation. That doesn't matter to me. I really don't care. Are you a good person or are you not a good person? Do you make good choices or do you not make good choices? That's my meter. And here's the thing. I have so much going on in my life right now. I don't need that stress. And even if I didn't have a lot going on, that would still be my stance. Exactly, Naija. All right, I'm going to update the donation list as well. Well, good talk, guys. This was a good therapy session. I feel like we all needed to have this discussion. Naija, but I do hope that that helps you. I think maybe you kind of already knew that you would have peace moving forward with this decision. But if I can just reaffirm that for you, happy to do so. And hopefully you enjoyed your readings with me. Good. I'm so glad to hear that. Just be at peace with your decision. Good. You're welcome, Naija. And let's email. Whenever you have a minute, feel free to reach out to me. Trying to stay on top of them as best as I can. Oh, I saw that you emailed me back. Okay, yeah, I'll respond to you shortly. Have a good night. All right, let's get shuffling for Jasmine. Said you're considering changing jobs to become a bartender. Oh, interesting. You want to be able to focus on your passions. How will this go? Okay, let's take a look. You know what's wild, Jasmine? I think this is better suited for you. I think being a bartender is better suited for you. I feel like there's flexibility here with being a bartender. There's room for creativity. There's maybe more flexibility in a schedule. There's just, it might be better for you. Like, here's what I will say, and everyone knows this about bartending and working in a restaurant. You can kind of have an average of like what you are going to make, but it is going to be inconsistent every single day. But I think with bartending specifically, even though there is that inconsistency, you still have the ability to even surpass the current income that you're in right now. It feels more your speed. I have a lot of really, really great cards. Now, bartending is mostly geared towards evening times. They are showing with the Nine of Swords and Four of Swords that you're going to be really it's so weird. Okay, sorry, I've got to tell you, I saw the Four of Swords just now and I said Nine of Swords and Four of Swords. I saw Four of Swords in my mind's eye and I was like, wait, Four of Swords isn't in this spread. And I cut the deck in half and literally, I'm not kidding, Four of Swords. I saw it before I pulled the damn card. That was wild. That's why I laughed. But I feel like you might not get as much rest. Your circadian rhythm is going to be a little different. But as a woman, your circadian rhythm is not the only thing that you need to rely on. You need to rely on your infradian as well. And with that being said, this might offer you that flexibility you're looking for. I think I think it might be harder for you to I don't know. I don't want to like assume or put words in your mouth, but it might be harder for you to maintain the rigidity of the current field that you're in right now for a long period of time. Like you might be able to do it for like another year or so, but the having to be there at a certain time, stay through a certain time, etc., etc. The thing with the bartending is that there is flexibility with that. You have people who can just cover your shift, and as long as you can find someone to cover your shift, if you can't go in, then it's no harm, no foul. Whereas there's so much eyes and pressure on you in the field that you're in right now. It just feels like there's a little more go with the flow, more flexibility, more I don't know, it just feels like you can breathe a little bit more with a bartending job. It feels like, you know, you get to explore that creativity of making drinks and having, maybe eventually like your own signature cocktail or something like that. There's more of like that social life and things. And I feel like you have a good head on your shoulders, Jasmine, as well. So it's not like you're going to succumb to the quote unquote party life either. I think you'll do your job, keep your head down, and go home. I think this is more about feeling more aligned with your own self, your own schedule, feeling different day to day and feeling like, okay, I'm working for a shorter amount of time and maybe I'm making even more money than I ever would. Do you get what I mean? And then you have your days free, because while there's brunches and things like that, depending on where you're working, most of the time you're going to find that happening on the weekends. You'll have your days generally free. And, I feel like this is more so, I don't know, this is like more your speed for some reason. I don't know if I'm in the business of telling people to be a bartender over having a proper full-time job, but here I am. I just feel like with these cards, it's just showing so much more happiness. So, and it's like less mental stress too. Are you more of a creative type versus like an analytical person? Do you lean more artistic or creative? There is a lot more freedom too, because you work less hours. Most of the time you're working evenings, so you're probably going in around 6 or 7. So you're probably working, 6 hours, maybe 7 hours. You're probably going to be doing that a couple nights a week, and chances are you're going to make what you would with a full-time job in a shorter amount of time. You're definitely artistic. Okay. You said you want to get more into production in the arts. I think, Jasmine, I like this for you because it leans more artistic. Being a bartender, a mixologist, it can be a passion within itself. And even if that's not the route you're trying to take, you have more flexibility to be more creative. It's probably going to be harder for you to have someone breathing down your neck and saying, you have to perform this specific way and do this specific thing. And whereas you're a bartender, you're not micromanaged as much. Get the orders, get the drinks, and get them out the door. Like, that's pretty much your responsibility. And as long as you're not wasting alcohol and there's not too many drinks coming back, you're pretty much set. I feel like it's a little more breathing room with a job like that for you. And then if you want to get into production as well, this is a flexible job where you could do the production stuff during the day and maybe bartending at night. The other thing about bartending is you can pick up extra shifts as well. So if one week you're like, I need a little extra money, you can try to pick up extra shifts. Whereas with the job you're in right now, there may be commissions, but there's really not a lot of opportunity to make more money. It's probably kind of set within a range. Whereas bartending, it's like if you want to work 7 nights a week and you want to cover people's shifts, you could probably do that. So I think that that feels a little bit better for you if you were to ask me. Yeah. Jasmine, I agree. I agree. And in the past, for me, I was very like punctual. I worked multiple jobs. I worked retail, salon and spa. I'm licensed in cosmetology. I worked hospitality in the restaurant business. I worked for the service industry for exterior house washing. I worked in the medical field for 7 years at an orthopedic office. I have a lot of experience, but something happened when I turned, what would it have been, 30, 29, 30. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't have it in me anymore. Because I was like basically an honor roll or straight A student. I took AP classes. I like did really, really good in school. I just was like the quote unquote perfectionist. I did everything I was supposed to do. I worked for myself. I paid for all of my own bills and everything. And something happened. I hit 29, 30, and I'm like, mm-mm. I don't want to be a cog in the system anymore. I want to do my own thing. And I can completely relate to you there, where it was like maybe when you were a child, it was easier for you. But as an adult, you're kind of like, no, I want to have that flexibility. I want to have that ability to do what it is I want to do and not feel like I have to show up and be something that just doesn't align with me. You're 29. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, girl. So, I mean, I'm going to leave that decision with you, leave these readings with you, and you can kind of mold that over. But it feels more clear and happy as a bartender versus where you're at right now. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jasmine. Thank you for coming in and choosing me to do the readings for you. All right, we're looking for Mystic. Mystic donated for an in-depth reading about an hour ago. So Mystic, if you're in here, please check in with me so we can get your questions started. Hey Chica, what is your question for me tonight? What can I do for you? Okay, how is Hassan feeling about you setting boundaries? All right, let's see. I feel like he feels a little bit out of control. So what this is telling me is that maybe in the past he has felt like he's had unlimited access to you. Like where he does something and he can kind of get away with it and you kind of just like let things slide or let things go. And it sounds like in your question here that you have done this before, you've set boundaries with him in the past, but for whatever reason, like we have given it another chance or something. And I feel like this time around he's in this headspace of, oh, okay, so I've lost control of this, meaning that he feels like maybe things are different this time around. Maybe he feels like he does not get to access you as much as he used to, or literally at all. And maybe he doesn't know how to turn this around. He feels like you're completely like shutting him out. We have the Four of Swords, so that's indicating that you are literally maybe even like, well, I don't know if blocking him, that might be a little too strong, but essentially like he feels like he has no other choice essentially in this decision. He feels like there's not really going to be a way to sway you. King of Wands in reverse means that he's usually able to strategize, he's usually able to charm his way out of things, but it's in reverse and it's making me feel like he feels like he's losing the plot. Like he feels like he does not have a grasp on you right now. He feels like he's usually the one leading this, and now suddenly maybe power dynamics or something has shifted here. You said you feel like he assumed you were cool with it because you thought, wait, hold on. I feel like he assumed I was cool with it because I thought I was minding my business and he kept tabs on me. He's weird. Okay. Is he like a controlling type of person? I'm just getting the vibe that he like wants to be in control of the situation. He wants to lead it, as I was saying with the King of Wands in reverse, but he feels like he's losing his grasp on you. Like he feels like he doesn't have the impact on you or the effect on you the way that he did before. And maybe you're building your courage to kind of step to him. And he's like, what the hell is happening? So I have the Six of Wands, and like at first with this card, I thought it meant that he wants to do something to win you back. And while that might be a vague thing in the background, the bigger energy that came in when I saw this card was that he feels like you're giving your attention to someone else or to other people. Like, I really think he thinks you're moving on without him. This feels like a little bit too mystic, a little bit like a game, a little bit of a power tug of war with him. Like, I feel almost like he likes to see what it is he can get away with when it comes to you. But he feels like, and this is the part that I don't like, Mystic. I almost feel like he's a little condescending right now because he feels like the only possible way that you could, like the only conceivable way to him that you could block him out and set boundaries with him is if you are talking to someone else and someone else is taking your attention away. He can't possibly fathom a world in which you just decided that for yourself. Well, for no other reason but you don't want this. Like he in his mind, he's thinking of all the reasons. He's trying to like almost think of all the possible scenarios as to why you're doing this, and he just can't wrap his mind around the fact that maybe he screwed up and that you're doing this because you're kind of getting sick and tired of it. He can't process that. He thinks to himself like, no, there's no way she would have made this decision on her own. There has to be someone else that she's giving her attention to, whether that's a friend that's in your ear or you're talking to someone new or something like that. It's like he just doesn't think you would have come to this on your own. That's a little bit condescending in my opinion, and it feels like it's like a lack of confidence in your own decision-making skills and feeling like you're very influential, which brings me back to like the control thing, is that he feels like he can affect you, but for whatever reason right now he feels like that's not the case. So he's going round and round in his own mind trying to figure out, how do we get here, what could have happened? And instead of saying maybe it was me, he's trying to shift the blame to some other scenario. He's disrespectful to you. There's better people than him, you don't pay attention to him the way that he did to you. That's why he thought you were okay with it, right? He'll be nice and throw shade for no reason. He tries to make me feel bad about myself. It's very manipulative, if that's a good word. So Mystic, I don't know, girl. I think you're kind of cutting some toxicity out of your life right now if you maintain that you are trying to keep him at a distance, I don't like this type of psychological warfare. I don't like, it feels like a game. It feels like I said, it feels like a psychological like tug of war or something where, he's constantly trying to have the upper hand. Hey, lovely. I'm working on Mystic, but you're next after her, okay? You said, it's crazy that he's confused. It's like, Mystic, it's almost not even like confusion. It's just he doesn't want to hold himself accountable for the decisions he's made and the part that he has played in this. And so he would rather try to think of another reason why this could be happening instead of looking inside of himself. And then the other side of that is that he feels like you've been convinced of this decision, not by your own will, by your own decision-making skills. He feels like there has to be some type of like external reason as to why you're doing this. So it's a little delulu, if you ask me. Exactly. It seems like he's playing a game and you're not playing. Right. Leave them where you found them. Yeah, Mystic. So, that's what I got for you, girl. I mean, maybe this isn't exactly what you wanted to hear. I don't know, but hopefully this brings some kind of clarity to you, or at least confirmation that the decision you're making is the right one. Let me know if you wanted to add on for anything else before I move to the next person. Oh, you're welcome. All right, Mystic. Have a good night. All right, lovely. So we're on you, and you wanted a channeled message as well. Just from the same person as always. Is there anything you wanted to like update me on before I get started, or are we ready to rock and roll? Cool. Okay. All right, let me pull for you real quick. Messages from M to Lovely. Messages from M to Lovely, please. Oh, nothing major. Okay. No, it's all good. I don't need updates, and honestly, sometimes I kind of prefer not to have them before a channeled message, but either way though, I'm good either way. We just haven't talked in a minute, so I wasn't sure. Oh my god, you posted a picture of yourself after not posting since February? What? That must have been like a thirst trap for him because that's a very long time to go without seeing any kind of updates from you. 2 weeks ago, you reposted a pic from your birthday, but this was new. Do you know if he saw it? Or wait, if it was a post, then maybe he can't tell if he saw it. Oh my goodness. All right, the messages are coming in fast and fierce, so I probably won't be talking for a few minutes. I'm like afraid I'm gonna not get everything. All right. Okay, I think we're almost done. Holy shit. I don't think a channeling has ever come in that fast ever before. That was crazy. Goodness gracious. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here. Hey, sweeter, how are you? Awesomeness energy feels more urgent. Yeah. I was like, I literally had probably 4 sentences pop into my head within a matter of like 10 seconds. And I didn't even have my iPad out ready to like write the stuff down. So I was like, oh my God, remember. I was like, holy crap. Sweeter says, hoping I'm not going into early labor. Oh my God. Girl, this is like what, a month and a half early or something? How are you feeling? Did you hear like my stylus like against the iPad? That was so funny. I was like, I wonder if this is really loud. Oh my God, girl. Are they Braxton Hicks or do they feel like real contractions? And are you timing them? You heard it. Oh. Well, what I heard was if you chug a lot of water, and I only know this because my sister just had a baby, but she said if you chug a lot of water, she said if they're Braxton Hicks, those the contractions will go away. If you chug a lot of water and they're still coming on, then it might be actual contractions. I don't know how true that is, but that's what she said. I was writing so fast. I'm about to get it sent over to you. Oh no, you already did that. Wait, sweeter. So are you like, where are you? Are you like 35 weeks, 34 weeks? Where are you at right now? $34 weeks, yeah. Oh my goodness. Typing on a paper before a deadline. Girl, that's when I work the best. When I've got a deadline of any capacity, that's when I work. I work very well under pressure. All right, so Eliana or Lovely, you should have your reading. So let me read it to you. Okay. So he says, I feel like we've started off on the wrong foot. Yeah, I messed up. But what I mean is, next chance I get, maybe we should start slow, move as friends, and let me explain. When we first met, I was so infatuated by you. I just wanted to get every bit of you as fast as possible. Being swept up in the moment with you was really easy to do. But with that, I think if I ever get the chance again, maybe I should just try to get to know you better so we can have a foundation. I feel like I can't think when I get around you. Things get fuzzy and I start to do or say things without thinking. This time, I want to take the right steps. I need you to know that I am persevering to this goal of being with you and in your life again. I'm recognizing the things I have within me that I need to release as they no longer serve my inner needs. And I feel like that's pretty straightforward. But I was definitely getting the vibe from him that he was like, starting off on the wrong foot with her was easy to do because I think he was so attracted to you. He was so into your energy. You were unlike anything he's ever met before. It was just so easy to get swept up in the moment with you. And he's saying, like, but that caused an issue for him. For you, Lovely, that probably wasn't even a problem. But for him, that was the problem. So he's like, if I ever get the chance again, I want you to know, like, I'm persevering to that goal of being in your life again. I think this time I want to just take the time to get to know you. Because I feel like, Lovely, I feel like, can I be honest? I feel like he really wanted to get in your pants. Not in the sense that that's all he wanted from your connection, but I think he was just so blinded by his physical attraction for you. It made him go dumb. Everything went dumb. And I think that he was almost, the timeline wasn't sped up because of you. I think you were just chilling. I think you were just enjoying it. You were just present in the moment. But it was almost like he was just gaga over you, that he sped the timeline up himself and then was like, wait, I'm not ready, you know? And I think he kind of just like psyched himself out or like got cold feet or something. And I think now he's like, wait, what? What was that about? And so there's a lot of themes that were coming up in the cards of friendship. And I was thinking to myself, man, I think what he really wants is to be friends with you first, with the intentions of becoming a romantic partner for you at some point. Kind of like those houses where you can rent to own, kind of tapping, touching, what is it called, putting your toes in the water or something. Like, I feel like he just kind of wants to, dip your toes. He wants to, like, dip his toes back in the water with you in a rent to own situation where you start as friends with the intentions of eventually becoming lovers, just like you rent with the intentions of becoming homeowners. So I feel like that's kind of where he's at right now. And it's like, also, I think this message comes through because he wants you to know that his mindset has changed. He doesn't want you to think that this is just going to be the same old, same old. If he comes back around, then history is going to repeat itself. I think he wants to make it clear that that's not going to happen. Makes so much sense because he was saying little things that made me feel he was nervous about our date. Yeah, that makes sense because that's how I would start over. So it's like, I think he wants you to kind of know his intentions as they are coming in. And I think these channeled messages, or at least this one specifically, is kind of letting you know where his head is at in terms of when I come back around, like, this is how it's going to be for me. Because I think he wants, and this has been an overarching theme, not just with this channeled message, but he is very, very adamant about, when I come back, I need her to see that I've changed. I want her to see the difference. I want her to feel it, taste it, touch it, like just like sense it. I want her to see it. I want her to hear it and know it, like that I have made improvements on myself. And I think until he feels that there has been that significant amount of change, that's where he bides his time when it comes to entering your life again. Yes. And so that's definitely a part of this, because I pulled the Queen of Wands. And as we all know, with the Queen of Wands, that's a very intimidating kind of card. Whereas I said, I don't think he's ever necessarily been intimidated by you rather than inspired by you. But I still think that his own attraction for you could have been intimidating. Not that you were intimidated him, but his attraction for you did. And he really, really, really wanted to impress you. And I think that he still has that, instinct to want to impress you. You love that because you said you're only accepting an upgraded version. That's good. Lovely. That was the fastest message that has ever come through. And it's so funny because throughout the message, it was like, and this is what I think, and let me explain, and what I mean by that, and da-da-da-da, because I think he is very worried about offending you again. And so I also am getting kind of that impression through the channelings that, like, if he says something, he's not trying to rub you the wrong way. He's not trying to get the wires crossed or give you mixed signals. So he's kind of like, I think he's a little bit worried about coming across the wrong way to you too, or like saying the wrong thing. So I noticed in the channel message when it was like, and what I mean by that, and let me explain this, because I think whatever he's feeling, whatever his energy is towards you, he doesn't want it to come across in any way that he's not intending for it to. Cute. Well, all right, so that is what I've got for you, lovely. Thank you so much for your donation tonight. Sweeter, 34 weeks. So, my only advice is that you call the nurse line at your OBGYN. Let them know, like, your timing between contractions. Are they consistent? Are they sporadic? Are you going 10 minutes between contractions and suddenly 3 minutes, then back to 9 minutes? Tell them that you chugged a lot of water. But obviously, if the concern is extending past anything that they can do for you, then you should go to the hospital and get it checked out. Because especially if you have insurance, you will hit your out of pocket no matter what. Is my understanding when you have a baby. So with that being said, you might as well go if there's any kind of cause for concern, but you are way past, your data viability. And the sooner you get to the hospital, the sooner that they can give you a steroid if you are going into labor, to get your baby to have the best chance for their lungs to be as in good of shape as possible. I only know this because my sister went into premature labor at 35 weeks with my nephew. She was in active labor. They tried to stop it. Her water broke, so then they couldn't stop it. So then they had to induce her because they had already tried to stop her labor, and now her water has broke. So, just get there as soon as you can if you really feel like you're in active labor, because they can get those steroids going if you are, or they can try to stop the labor from happening to prolong your pregnancy. So I wouldn't want to wait too long. And my guess is that your medical team would tell you the same thing. Baby said to freedom. You know what, Luna? This is actually crazy because I remember when my sister said that I would start seeing little things. She also said she felt we would probably start as somewhat friends. Really? Oh, that's so cool. Your sister, she needs to start doing readings. I'm sorry. And you know what I love is that she's tapping into this without even using any cards or anything. Like, there's just people out there sometimes that can just channel. I like a starting point with the cards. I really just need one card. I need one starting point, and the vision comes together, and then I can just go with it. But there are people out there who literally can just sit there, scribble on a piece of paper, or just kind of turn it on. I don't know. And your sister sounds like one of those people. Well, my husband's going to call me in a second. I do have to get going because we've got a lot to talk about on his way home from work. She said, I'm ready to show up and show out. That's funny. My sister went at 36 weeks. Her water broke at home. Yeah. They called it late preemie. And sweeter, especially if you're, because I don't remember what you're having. I think you're having a boy, but I know that boys are a little weaker with their lungs if they're born earlier than girls. So that's like another reason to get to the hospital too. Yeah, I'm glad that you're going to go today. Oh, you're having a girl. Okay, so then you're in a better situation. I just read that you said you're having a girl. So yeah, I mean, she probably will still need a little bit of assistance as well with her lungs, but maybe she'll do a little bit better if she is premature, which hopefully that's not the case. That's happening right now. You're hoping it's not serious. It's been nonstop. Oh, 36 weeks a late preemie. You can channel 2 with the cards, right? Yes, sweeter, I can. Yeah, I started like her. I still get downloads like that. Sometimes I need the cards. Thank you, lovely. I hope you have a good night. Sweeter, you were born at 5 months. You know what's actually really weird is that my sister was born early as well, and she's the only one of the 5 kids that were born early. And she's well, no one else has had kids, but so far she had a preemie, just like she was a preemie. So maybe there's something to that. I don't really know. But sweeter, keep us posted. Obviously you have, a lot going on right now, but whenever you can come back in, give us an update. I am going to go ahead and sign off because I think I just missed a call from my husband. And we have some, like I said, some things to talk about, so I do have to get going. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. And sweeter, good luck with everything. I will talk to everyone later. Bye, friends.